Echo Base Network. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens.
Might help if I add myself to the stream.
I was wondering
Just
if
might.
it's going to be like finally Loki's Afternoons of Mischief featuring Jonas J. Campbell.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have to set that up.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, welcome back to another EBN cast, guys. Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge will be along shortly, and our special guest, Chris Gore. Real quick, guys, there's 4 ways you guys can support us here on the stream. EBN memberships, Jedi Masters get EBN coin, Jedi Grandmasters get a coin and a free t-shirt from our merch store. You can also support us over on Patreon, where we upload tons of stuff that we cannot post here on YouTube. Lots of full series or season TV shows, movies, reactions, all that sort of stuff. Of course, our merch store and super chats where you guys can ask us questions, be a part of the conversation. If you want to get our thoughts, comments on something that we're not hitting on, you can do that through super chats. So thank you for all your continued support. Mike is out today. He is with his son. So Tom's going to be filling in for him. Jonas, Loki are here, though. How you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Right,
doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are going to go ahead and kick this off. Let me introduce our special guest of the week.
Welcome back, film expert Chris Gore.
Thanks.
Nice as always to have you here.
Cool.
Hey, there
There you go.
It's Olivia Munn.
There you go. Oh my God, thanks. That's me in an Affliction shirt that I think was given to me by the wardrobe department. So thank you for that. And yeah, worked with Olivia for like 5 years.
Yeah, I finally got around to watching Attack of the Doc last night, guys. If you guys have not seen this documentary, it is great. Brought back so many memories. The link for it is in the description of this stream, as well as Film Threat, Chris's channel, and his Twitter. Also, you guys can find Jonas J. Campbell's all his links for that Park Place. And of course, you guys can see him over at the WDW Pro Show, and of course, Stone Loki, and links to his channel in the description also. But that documentary, Chris, I absolutely loved it. It brought back so many freaking memories. And good God, man, you guys did some crazy stuff on there.
Well, thank you for that. It's streaming for free on YouTube and Tubi. I mean, you got to suffer through some commercials, but it's free. And that was always my plan. Was I wanted to release it. I really made it for the fans because I'm a fan. And all I wanted to do, a lot of people are like, well, do you talk about the new G4 in it? It's briefly mentioned at the end.
Yeah.
But it's really my purpose in making the doc was to remind people of this era when we just talked about stuff we loved. We weren't trying to cancel people because they had a different opinion than we did. And there's a lot of just weirdness that's out there of late. And I think that this was a great time. This was awesome. It was this amazing era before social media kind of divided all of us. And, so my purpose was just to remind people of that time. And then also, like, at the end, there's this little montage of YouTubers. By design, it's YouTubers from all over the map.
Yeah, I saw Campy in there, Gary from Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, the Black Jedi Nerd guy.
Yeah, I feel like YouTube kind of took the mantle. Like Attack of the Show showed how it could be done. Here's people that aren't professionally trained to be on TV. And when I say that, I'm talking about myself, who are just passionate about whatever they're discussing, whether it was Blair Butler talking about comics or, me talking about movies, or even, Pereira talking about games. Pereira never had any professional training to be on television. I mean, he started as a PA. He didn't know what he was doing in the end. He was kind of born and bred in a lab to be on TV, but that was a magical time. And I feel like YouTube kind of replaced it. And ultimately, whatever you say about the new G4, it almost didn't need to come back. It didn't need to, because everyone here on this stream and others kind of just kept it going. And oh, well, we still want to talk about nerd stuff. I have an expertise in this, comics, video games, whatever. I'm just going to do my own channel. And YouTube is really sort of the fruits of what Attack the Show showed what it could do. But I'll say this. I just saw It's a Gundam. It's a Gundam did. I don't know if you follow It's a Gundam.
Oh, yeah. He's great.
He's great. He did a 3-part sort of breakdown of what happened to the new G4. And it is like a unintentional sequel to Attack of the Doc, whatever
I'm gonna have to
happened.
go watch that.
Oh, it's so good. The third part, I mean, it's kind of done now. The third part is basically you could watch Attack of the Doc and then watch It's a Gundam's series. And it is, the third part is just, if you want to know everything about the, what happened at the new G4, he lays it out. It's investigative. It's mildly autistic and ADD, but I love it.
Yeah, I didn't realize watching that I guess it was the showrunners or the producers there didn't know anything about or know what Comic-Con was and thought it was what is it, a comedy thing? And then you guys kind of put it on the map by hosting the shows and stuff there. And I remember watching those back in the day, that and E3.
Oh, it was great. I was trying to take time off. I'm like, hey, can I get time off? I want to drive down Tuesday to go to Comic-Con. They said, you can't take time off. You can't pre-tape. And I was like, can I just pre-tape my segment? I got to go to Comic-Con. And then they were like, Comic-Con, is that a convention for comedians? And I was like, no. And I had to explain what Comic-Con was. It's like pop culture. So they actually went down themselves. I couldn't get out of work, but I ended up going down on Wednesday. I normally go down on Tuesday. They went down with just a field crew on the weekend with Pereira. And it was just Pereira and Gavin Purcell and some producers. And they shot segments. They were like, holy crap, we should be here every year. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Duh.
So, yeah. And then they rated
that, right?
What's that?
I guess the E3 stuff came after that, right?
The E3 stuff came after that. And it was look, it was an ambitious network for its time. But when I saw that G4 was going to come back, I said, my first question was why is it coming back? How is it going to be different or new in light of the fact that YouTube exists? YouTube exists as a thing. Do you need a new Attack of the Show or a new G4? I don't know that you do. And I think the big thing that was missing is I think people wanted to see Kevin and Olivia. And with her, It's a Gundam lays it out. He lays it out. He goes through all the trades and, he really goes deep. So shout out to It's a Gundam. Hey, Mr. H.
What's
Good
up,
to see you.
Nate?
Buongiorno.
What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on?
And we got Tom in the house.
Sorry I'm late.
Oh, it's fine. We were just talking the Attack of the Doc. I finally got around to watching it last night.
Chris needs to quit being so humble. People wanted to see him too.
Oh,
that's
thanks.
why he's popular on YouTube.
I always wanted to see Layla Kaylee. She was always my favorite on
between
sweet.
the two that you mentioned, Chris, and you specifically, that was why I watched the show. I mean, DVD Doomsday and stuff like that was my jam. So
yeah, the physical media stuff on there. Absolutely. I watched G4 TV all the time. It was great.
Like I said, I worked at an ISP at the time. It was kind of in its prime, so it was constantly on.
Yeah,
we had a TV up in the corner, like the old tube TVs up in the corner, constantly had G4 on. When I went upstairs to our apartment where I lived with this other guy that I worked with, he'd always have G4 on. We were always having, we'd have several TVs and computers. So it was almost always on. It was really just kind of the part, that part of my life specifically. But then there's also Film Threat in my life as well because of being an indie fan. So yeah, no, I mean, yeah, but no, You're a little too humble sometimes with that, Chris.
Well,
you were a big part. You were a big part of that channel.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
thank you. But hey,
You were there
standard
to
def.
the very end.
Standard def. No, I was there from 2000. I was on a few episodes of the Screensavers, 3 episodes of the
Oh,
Screensavers.
God, I remember that.
Then it turned into Attack of the Show, and I was on the very last
Yep.
episode. So I was there for almost. It was almost.
I remember when it was still
Yeah.
Screensavers. Yep. Yeah.
But I don't know. That was 300 lines of resolution, standard def TV, and then it was like at the very end. I think it was like, was it 2010 or so that it switched to HD? I don't remember exactly when G4 made the leap. I just remember getting my first HD TV in 2005, so I could play Xbox 360 in HD, which was awesome.
I did the exact same thing.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, you did! Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You
Love
know,
it.
it's funny you talk about these guys that are like they're perfect for a YouTube channel, and then there's some people who are perfect for being on TV. I don't want to say that Adam Sessler was perfect for being on TV. He was a lot more likable when he had to answer to a network, I think, because he's one of those guys that once he got out into the open, it was like, whoa, you hate a lot of people.
Yeah, I always, look, I have no idea what happened to him. I know that he's had some personal issues behind the scene. But yeah, I look and I just kind of shake my head like I don't know what to say. Like I actually genuinely feel for him. I think he's going through something and it's not positive. So,
Yeah. When I saw him trashing his own family, I was like, whoa, wow.
Yeah, I appreciate his takes when he has measured takes on stuff that aren't political. I'm there for it. I mean, I think the guy is super insightful. But
I loved his gaming coverage. I mean, I watched it all the time back.
I mean, he was talking about how he would apparently did some bit where he was doing like the Nixon succession crisis, as a comedy bit on a video game show. And that's the kind of weird esoteric stuff that I really love, because not everyone's going to get it, but you're committing and you're doing it anyways. So mad respect for that. But wow. But meanwhile, I come across this guy over on Film Courage one day. I'm like, what in the world? Who is this guy? And then I find out, oh, wait, that's Chris Gore. So
well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. No, they pretty much just let me say whatever I want. And I just, it's only been a couple years where I've said I should get more serious about YouTube, because I was doing like reviews. I was mainly doing interviews actually with people.
Yeah,
so
I saw the one you did with James Cameron. I was like, oh wow, he got to interview James Cameron.
Well, that was for the DVD release of the original Avatar back in the day. But I did interviews. I would do interviews with filmmakers on Film Threat. We really didn't know what the Film Threat YouTube channel should be. Alan was doing reviews. I was doing filmmaker interviews. And I said, why don't we just live stream twice a week? I said, we'll see what happens, whatever. So that was like maybe 2 years ago. And we've kind of just like steadily, grown from that.
So. One quick question before we hit this first topic. Most memorable moment from G4 TV, whether it be somebody that you met, an event that happened, top one, top two most memorable moments of your entire career there.
Oh my God. Well, working with Olivia Munn was super awesome. She was always like, and same thing with Kevin, like a moment. Well, see, I don't want to tell you something that was already in the doc because whatever, but I did meet Jimmy Fallon once. He was on. So Gavin Purcell was the executive producer of Attack of the Show. And Jimmy Fallon was a fan of Attack of the Show. Like he watched it. Remember, he came on to be a guest. This is when NBC had him on a holding fee, which is basically you pay talent to not work so you can groom, you can like get things ready and groom them to do a big show. He's going to do the Tonight Show, right? So he came to be on Attack of the Show. And it was like Jimmy Fallon, this is like, I only knew him from SNL and whatnot. It's cool to meet him. So I just want to say, great to meet you. I love that one sketch he does, Jimmy Fallon, where he would just say, move, and he was like the IT guy. But he came up and I talked to him and he goes, hey, I said, I'm a big fan of you. He goes, I'm a fan of you. And he was like telling me because he watched DV Tuesday. And that just really was like kind of embarrassing for me. But it was fun. Like, we saw people like walk through there all the time. Cameron was there. And I mean, it's hard to nail down a moment, but that was a really cool one. And whatnot. So And I will say Jimmy Fallon has grown into the least annoying person on late night TV now. One of the least annoying. So
Yeah, he's not as bad
an
as some of the
accolade.
other ones for sure.
yeah, Colbert is probably the worst. I
Oh,
used to
God,
love
yeah.
Colbert, and he's unwatchable now. Unwatchable. And has no self-awareness to know how loathed he is by so many people.
Somebody else is coming back to a talk show. I saw
Jon Stewart.
Yeah, Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I saw he's coming back now.
I don't think that's going to work again.
Probably.
No, I don't think it's going to work. I don't know. So he seems committed to being on one side of the political aisle only, without like a view from a distance where you could actually see in a more sober-minded way what's going on.
Yeah, he was one of the ones that was interviewing Charmaine Obid Chinoy.
At that conference. I'll say this. I'll say this. I've been to conferences and I've seen panels like that. She is totally pandering to the audience.
Oh,
When
yeah.
she made that remark about making men uncomfortable, she was in a room with 90+% women, and she knew she'd get a woo. It's like when anyone says something very uncontroversial on Oprah or The View. Not like I ever watch those shows, but I see clips. I've never watched The View, but I always see clips of people being idiots on The View, which is every show apparently. But like, she was playing to that audience of people that like just are going to agree with that. So when you see a lot of like the dumb TED talk or this, it's like they're pandering. They're totally pandering to the audience. Although I think she's a horrible choice for a director of a Star Wars film. I don't see anything from her past work that would indicate that she would actually do a decent job for a Star Wars movie, unless it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what they're going for.
Yeah.
I remember somebody saying, well, she won an award. She won a film award. I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You could win as many awards as you want. If you're not the right person for the job, if you don't have the chops to make the movie, why are you making the movie? They just don't care.
Look, by the way, I made up an award show to give awards to small indie movies. I've been doing it for 5 years, called Award This. It's a real thing. Filmmakers get really excited when it's like for movies that are like really low budget, like under $1 million, under 100,000, most of them. And so I made it up. The point is like, you can just make shit up, right? By the way, the Academy Awards, the Oscars, someone just made that up, and it wasn't even called the Oscars at first. It was the Academy.
It's still technically an Academy Awards. It still is, but
the
Oscar is the name of the actual award itself. But yeah,
during one of the award ceremonies, one of the, I forget which actor, you can look it up. It's a Wikipedia thing. You can find it in 2 seconds. Escapes my memory, but someone received an Academy Award and said, "Oh, this looks like my husband Oscar."
Yep.
And then it was, I forget which actor said that.
It was either that or it was like the person it was modeled after was named Oscar, and it was somebody's husband. I can't remember.
It was somebody's husband.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up.
I think
I was gonna say it's along those lines. But are we talking about the Ray movie or not yet? Because
let's do it.
Yeah,
I'll tell you one thing. I gotta say, going off of the Charbade annoying thing that she said, I got to assume this is part of the topic you were gonna get into, and I gotta ask, especially of Chris, did you see Daisy Ridley's appearance on Today, and did you see her response to the question about the controversy and sexism?
Yeah,
I wonder. I've heard all the comments. She's
okay.
smart.
I gotta ask: is it? Do you think it's her saying this, or do you think there's been a change behind the scenes of people telling her and other people stop attacking the fans? Because it just feels like weird that she's the first person to come out and say, no, the fans are not the problem.
I'll say this. I don't care if she was told to say that or not. She has been consistently likable.
Yeah.
I like Daisy Ridley. I think she did a really good job with Ray. I think she was failed by a terrible script, no clear character arc. She wanted to know what happened to her family. We never see that. She doesn't have that moment where she meets her parents. Who the F are her parents?
Yeah.
Okay.
Once we find out, they finally figure out who her parents are going to be in the third film.
Well, do they even say who her parents are, or they just say That,
They
that
never
Palpatine's
explicitly
It's
say.
grandfather.
Palpatine's
Palpatine.
It's Palpatine's son, so she's Palpatine's granddaughter. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's Palpatine, but like there's no, because we don't actually see that on screen. She's simply told, "I'm the grandfather," or "I'm the clone of your grandfather," a person she barely ever knew. There was a connection between Luke and Darth Vader, which made that moment at the end of Episode 5 meaningful. It made it meaningful because we knew who Darth Vader was, we knew who Luke was, didn't see it coming, at least at the time that it was revealed. And so what can you say? But I think Daisy Ridley's great. I think the one thing that J.J. Abrams did contribute, the new characters are well cast. They're not well written, they're not well served, but they're very well cast. They're very likable. They work. It's fine. He failed to tell a story where Han, Luke, and Leia were reunited. There's that. It's on my Twitter feed. I retweeted it. This metal band, Lost _Souls. Don't play it because it'll get you copyright. I made the mistake of playing it on a live stream, but where they talk, it's like, yes, they never reunited Han, Luke, and Leia because that's the moment people needed to see, not just some BS scene at the end of a Ghostbusters movie where they reunite the Ghostbusters, which was okay, but let's tell a final adventure of Han, Luke, and Leia, because the last thing you want to do is show the original trilogy to a daughter, your son, a nephew, a niece, whatever, and say, "Oh, you mean they made more Star Wars movies? Can I watch Episode 7?
Yeah.
Why would you torture your kid like that? It's disgusting what Lucasfilm did. And if you run into, and this is for everyone watching and listening, everyone here watches it later, if you ever meet someone from Lucasfilm, or if you meet J.J. Abrams, or you meet Kathleen Kennedy, you talk to anybody, you talk to the janitor who works at Lucasfilm, why did they not reunite Han, Luke, and Leia in the Star Wars sequels? One of the biggest mistakes in movie history.
100%.
How could you, and that's what that metal song, that Lost Souls on TikTok, you can find it. You can find that video, the music video. It's a little animated music video where it basically says,
it's called Star Wars is Dead, right?
Yeah.
But alternatively,
Chris, do you remember?
What if
John
Wait,
Boyega?
only 5 questions at once, please. Sorry.
Go ahead, Loki.
Yeah.
Okay, it might not be really quick. Do you remember when Daisy Ridley and John Boyega got these jobs and they were like, "We're in Star Wars," and they're bouncing up and down on their chairs and they're excited.
Yeah.
And then the last movie comes out and they're like, "Yay, whoop do shit. We're doing the last movie."
Look, let me just say this. I mean, there's a lot of, I see on YouTube, a lot of people speculate about what happens in Hollywood. It's much more simple. It's like 1D chess. Okay. Not very difficult. People in Hollywood are petty. They're driven by ego and narcissism. Everyone knew the Star Wars sequel sucks. The people who worked, J.J. Abrams knows it sucks. He was working for a huge corporation that told him what to do. He was willing to be Kathleen Kennedy's bitch, and he made a terrible Star Wars movie. He has to live with it, and now he hasn't made a movie since. And I happen to know people who know JJ. They say he is scarred from the experience. That's why he knows he ruined Star Wars. Okay. The actors know when it's good. They know when it's not good. There's a very interesting BTS. You can find this. Okay. Pan for gold. Someone in the chat. On the new Oppenheimer 4K Blu-ray release and in the behind the scenes, in Oppenheimer, they interview all the actors. The actor who played Han Solo in Solo, A Star Wars Story. His name is
Alden Ehrenreich.
Alden Ehrenreich. He's being interviewed, and it's this subtle thing. He goes, it's really nice to be in a movie where you can talk about it and know that the movie's actually really good.
I guess he's referencing Solo.
He is 100% because he knows that a lot of times in those behind the scenes, they are faking. They are faking enthusiasm. And you saw it on that last, when Rise of Skywalker was coming out, you saw the interviews with people. And I did see that thing with Daisy, and good on her. She's a woman of class.
Yeah.
She understands that she's going to have a career after Star Wars. fingers crossed. And all of the problems with Star Wars had nothing to do with her performance. I think she's fantastic. I think John Boyega, his character of Finn, was done dirty. They never
big
paid it
time.
off. And
Yeah.
JJ even admitted, that they forgot to add a scene they left it dropped out of Rise of Skywalker. We were supposed to admit, hey, I'm force sensitive with the Force, that he's going to develop into a Jedi. He has a right to be pissed off. There was so much meddling. This is why Disney can't make a movie for under $300 million. They're incompetent boobs. It's middle management bloat. It's supervisors and this, and just like they're focused on, there is so many grifts going on in mainstream Hollywood now. They will die from all of this, whether it's COVID compliance, intimacy coordinator, a DEI bullshit. It's all the weight of all that bloat and adding additional costs to making movies is effed up. Go be independent, make an independent film. George Lucas is the most successful independent filmmaker of all time. And he left Hollywood. He came here to make movies. It's like, I don't like it here. And that's why he escaped to Marin County, just be away from nonsense. Hollywood people with the drugs, which is real, and all the other BS. Hey, they're just the stuff that's public that you know about. It's 10 times worse.
I got to defend JJ for 1 minute here. The reason he hasn't made another movie since The Rise of Palpatine is he's still shooting it as we speak. You keep forgetting that, Chris.
Oh my goodness.
What movie is he shooting?
The Rise of Star Wars, Palpatine, whatever.
Rise of Skywalker.
He's still in a desert with a green screen trying to make it work.
By the way, I went and I looked at the UK tax documents today, and I don't know why I just decided to go through this. The budget for Willow doubled to 150 million pounds reported. But yeah, that movie cost. They spent 540 million USD making that movie. I don't care about tax credits when I say this, and that might not even include how much they spent on the actors, on the big actors like.
Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about Rise of Palpatine. Rise of Skywalker.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
They spent 560 on the first one.
Well, we know that. Yeah, we know what they spent on the first one already now. So yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And look, I'm glad JJ feels bad and he feels scarred. He should feel bad and scarred for everything that he's fucking destroyed, from Star Trek to Westworld. As far as I'm concerned, everything he touches turns to shit.
Look, I don't mind that first Star Trek movie. I think it's fine.
Oh, it's the road to got us to where we are, though, Chris, and you know that, right? And the fact is that he don't give a shit. You know what bothers me more is that he's not bothered by the fact that he fucked up Star Trek, because we know he's not. Yeah, because he never was a Star Trek fan. He was a Star Wars fan.
Right.
So he claims, anyways.
Yes.
No, you can see it in his films that even if it's just like a what's the word I'm looking for? Even if he's like a superficial fan of Star Wars, he was still a fan. You can see that in Star Trek, because that's what everybody said after watching Star Trek 09. It's like, yeah, that was interesting, but this guy would be much better making a Star Wars movie, because that's clearly what he wants to make here. Right?
Well,
you're watching that and you're like, this is not Star Trek, it's more like Star Wars.
Fan of Spielberg without also being a fan of George Lucas, you know?
Well, that too, but I'm just saying, like, it doesn't surprise me that he feels bad that he screwed that up. Well, of course he should, because he was actually somewhat of a fan of that. But at the end of the day, is he going to learn any lessons from that? No. I'm sorry. I laughed a little bit yesterday when the news come out again that Warner Brothers is finally done with their contract with him. I'm like, I thought they were a year ago when they had quit making anything with him. Yeah. So and this is what we've been reporting for years, is that Hollywood is waking up to the idea and the facts that the only one who makes money off these J.J. Abrams productions is J.J. Abrams. Nobody else. Even
because
Paramount
they pay him to make the movie. It's like, here
exactly.
It is. We're just going to pay you for this.
Real quick, for those who didn't see it, this is Daisy's response to them trying to bait her into this sexist Star Wars fans bait here. And I know Chris was getting into it with some people on Twitter. We were getting into it with people on Twitter about this, and we'll talk about it here.
Let's talk Star Wars, of course. It was announced earlier this year. There's a new film coming out. It's called A New Jedi Order, I believe. What can you tell us about it?
She can't
I was
say
thinking
enough.
about this last night.
Give us
something happens with someone.
That's so funny.
I actually haven't read a script yet, but the story I've been told is fantastic, and I'm there. I'm in it.
Daisy, that's a really good answer. Good job. Oh, your publicist, your whole
Wait. Pause that for a sec. She says the story I've been told is fantastic. She didn't say it was fantastic.
But
right,
yeah,
which is not consistent with what she said before.
Yeah, 100%.
I've been told.
That's all you can tell us.
You're gonna make it blush.
It's great. I'm getting warm.
Yeah.
It's a very worthwhile story, and I think Charmine's going to do an amazing job.
That's so
Speaking
funny.
of Charmine, I just have to ask, because there are some of the,
Here it
I'd say,
comes.
extreme Star Wars fans who have made this a conversation on the internet about how they don't want a female director, which seems bizarre because episodes of The Mandalorian were directed by
That's horseshit.
females.
We want a good director.
Has been overseeing all of this. So, what is your take on that?
I think my take is things get blown out of proportion, and the interactions I've ever had with people have been nothing but wonderful and supportive. And honestly, the day we announced that I was coming back at Celebration last year, you cannot imagine the joy and goodwill in that room. So I've only ever been embraced, and I think we're going to make a great film, and people will
We
love it.
cannot wait. Tell us more.
She's a professional. She's a professional.
Yeah.
Do her and Aman Vellani have the same publicist, like coaching them on all this stuff? Because this seems like there's a completely separate school of thought here between the trash the fans community and this kind of stuff. You can't even let something slip, because I mean, we all know how the internet is. If you say one thing out of line, they'll latch onto it and hold on to it forever. But she's smiling. She's nice. She said, "Oh, I think it's blown out of proportion," and that could be read by either side as a peaceful statement. I like it.
She is kind of backtracking a little bit, though, Jonas. That's what I got to say here. And this is why I asked, is it possible that there's been some change behind the scenes where they're telling them to stop attacking the fans? Because she went off of social media at the same time not Daisy Ridley, because that's what we're talking about. What's her face? Rose Tico, the actress, Kelly Marie Tran.
Oh, yeah.
And they painted it like she left because of the vitriol she was getting as well. So there was a bit of that going on years ago too. I think some people may remember that. So I'm not 100% sure on this. That's why I asked the question: Is this sincere, or is this people saying we got to quit?
Look at Daisy Ridley's history. She's always been sincere. You could see on her face. Look at Rise of Skywalker. She was not happy. But she never said a word. She never said a disparaging word about the movie. She's a professional. I think honestly, I think it has to do with she's British. They're a little bit more buttoned up, right? Shout out to the Brits out there. She just it's something she would consider.
And what about Ewan McGregor? I mean, he's not British, he's Irish or whatever, but I mean, he was one of the people that bought into that's what I'm saying. It's like they almost pushed this whole idea of you get ready for the racist, sexist fans.
As I said, people, you're acting like there's big meetings about this. They're playing 1D chess, and if an actor says something stupid in Hollywood, that's a Tuesday. That's why I don't take what actors say seriously.
Sorry, I said Irish.
Because they're all just trying to get work. They're trying to get work. Sometimes they're pandering on race issues, or they're pandering on social justice, or sometimes they're trying to remain neutral to stay employed. All I'm saying is that where this comes from is a place of, I want money and I want to remain employed. You're reading way too much into it. And the thing is this is why when I watch streams where people speculate on YouTube about a lot of things that happen in the industry, you're thinking about it more deeply than the people actually doing the thing. You're thinking about it way too deeply.
I'm not going to say you're wrong, Chris, but at the same time, we've seen this though, right? We have seen.
There's no way to prove that I'm wrong or you're wrong or I'm right or you're right. There's no way to prove it. Well, I'm saying you're thinking about it too deeply.
We know that Moses Ingram was told, because she even said it, she was told by people to prepare for this. That's my point. So there's clearly meetings happening.
Well, on that, I would say that was a marketing strategy.
Yeah.
And which backfired because they knew it was bad. So how do you promote something that's bad? You become a victim. This victim narrative in everything is utterly ridiculous. I think people are tired of it. I feel like this is the year people are this recent thing, and this connects. Gina Carano, Vancouver Comic-Con, the attempt to cancel her from like 3 people who started a online petition, whatever. The point is, yeah, we're just not going to listen to this anymore. Yeah, we hear your complaints. Don't care. There's just this. We're done. I'm really done tolerating midget-minded people.
And they actually gave her an extra day, didn't they?
Yeah, gave her an extra day. She's gonna stay an extra day, which I love. But the point is that it's like we're done. We're not going to allow these people to control things. We're just it's not. I don't think they're worth our time. I think everyone's going to sort of come to that place where we're like, we're tired of you. We're tired of you. No, we're just going to do our thing. Go away. If you want to be upset about something, go be upset. Don't ruin someone else's fun. A lot of people love Gina Carano. They love Cara Dune, the character. And I'm really happy for her that she's turned this around. That if also, by the way, the thing that supposedly kicked off her being, fired from Lucasfilm, if you read that social media post now, it's more meaningful and rings more true now than when she first said it, when she was reading the tea leaves going like, if you start to vilify other people, it gets to a bad place. What are we seeing on college campuses now? What are we seeing out they did protests at the Sundance Film Festival. People are tired of your fucking shit. Yeah. We're tired of it. We're done. Go away. Be discontent on your own. Don't ruin this for other people. I feel if there starts to be some sort of so-called reckoning again, people aren't going to sit down and take it. It's not going to happen. No way. No way. Look at what's happening around. I don't want to go political, but I'm saying is open your eyes to things that are happening. Not a good thing, but also I think people aren't going to tolerate it. So kudos to Gina Carano for remaining strong through all of this. Yeah. And she's just a beautiful, look, I don't know her personally, but I do know people who do know her. I've only ever heard great things.
And I've never ever heard anything nice. About her. She's absolutely so nice. I got to meet her once. She was so nice. She was so welcoming. We're not dealing with someone like Alan Baldwin at a convention. There's no reason to be afraid of her.
Right.
Well, of course, you make a post online about how the population turning against a certain segment of the population is evil and kind of fascism. And the best way to disprove that, of course, is those fascists coming out and deciding to get her fired.
Yes, that is to me those people that were trying to force her to have some like HR meeting with like 30 people on a Zoom call. That is bullying.
Yeah,
they were going
it's
to
like reprogramming or something.
It's literal Marxism. It's what they did over in, actually it might be Maoist, but that's what they do in communist countries. It's a struggle session.
Yeah, no, it's horrifying. And the fact that they almost put her through that, she was smart to basically just reject it completely. So yeah, no, I'm just how she was treated is disgusting. I wish she was more forthcoming with information. But
apparently she's got emails and stuff that she's talking about releasing, but nobody's seen anything from any of that yet. I don't know if it's coming in the future or if
maybe she'll
she said she's got emails and receipts.
Maybe she's saving it for a book.
Yeah, it's possible. But yeah, I agree. The way she was treated was
well, and that's the kind of crap I'm talking about, Chris, is there may not be these quote unquote big meetings, but don't think there's not whisper networks. Don't think there's not people who have the ears of bigger people up like Kathleen Kennedy and or Pablo Hidalgo who do talk to Kathleen Kennedy. That's what I'm saying. And these things happen. And I'm just curious, and we'll have to wait and see how this pans out. Sure, it may be Daisy just being Daisy, but I would like to think that they're finally learning, because that's what I felt like the whole Mandalorian announcement was there for to begin with, was just to go, oh crap, we had this bad week of press over this Charmine chick talking shit about the first woman to direct a Star Wars movie and the reaction it got and making men uncomfortable and all this other stuff that people were digging up about her because they didn't pay attention to her when they first announced the movie. So at that point, everybody was like, really? They're that dumb to make another Rey movie? Right? Like at that point, they weren't paying attention to Charmine. It wasn't until Charmine said what she said and that set off this controversy. And it was a week of nonstop barragement.
I just think about how many people go to a movie and you're assuming that everyone is confident in their lives and their public image when they go to a movie, and you've got this perfect evil person that you're going to go and you're going to make them uncomfortable. There's a lot of people that are like down on their luck and losers, and they go to movies, or they feel like a loser, I should say, because I've been there. Maybe I'll be there again. But if I go to a movie and I identify with a hero and I see them succeed, that's a little bit for me, I hate the idea of somebody saying, you know what? We're going to bring you into this movie and we're going to tell you that you suck.
Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of like the thing is she basically did the same exact thing that Tim Miller did with Terminator. Remember when he come out and said, if you're not a feminist, this movie's going to scare the shit out of you.
He realized he made a big mistake. I heard behind the scenes that he knew that he effed up and it hurt the movie. Same thing with Charlie's Angels and what's her name? The director.
Oh yeah, we covered that. Yeah.
What's her name though? I met her at the Sundance Producers Conference.
She did the fucking
cool.
Cocaine Bear too.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Banks.
Elizabeth Banks. I like her. I've met her. She's fucking cool. She's cool. But the thing is this is what I'm saying is the industry kind of expects you to say shit that's stupid. And they don't, they're not very thoughtful. Like, remember there's Elizabeth Banks when she's giving that award, Steven Spielberg, who's never made a movie with a woman. Well, you know, call her. And the people are shouting titles from the audience. She's like, oh, okay. Yeah. It's like, look, in the moment, people say stupid shit. I 100% guarantee you could get hours of me saying stupid shit from the hundreds and maybe thousands of hours I've done podcasts or been on shows. So
we all have.
And I feel like there's a little bit under a microscope of an actor said something stupid. That's just nothing. It's like whatever. That's why I don't get too bent out of shape. However, when they go out of their way, like a Rachel Zegler, it's worth noting. Or when they go against the narrative, like Daisy Ridley, that's also worth noting. The Rachel Zegler stuff is very disconcerting. She was never well coached, or maybe that she was told to say that. I really don't think that she has. I've met a lot of actors. I'll say, well, they're not the brightest bulbs in the bunch.
On the Elizabeth Banks thing, didn't she come out and say that she was kind of told to say that shit though? She threw the studio on the bus, I thought.
Maybe she was backpedaling about it. Who knows?
She did backpedal, but I can't remember. I think from my recollection, she kind of threw the studio under the bus for all that business. Maybe I can find the story, but yeah.
Right. But look, in any case, that's why I don't really take too seriously or put much into the Rachel Zegler one, though. That's egregious. And she is doing a terrible disservice to her employer and just to the legacy of Walt Disney, who created this company 100 years ago.
And they didn't even honor him in the big Disney celebration thing. Like, no mention of him, no images, no anything. It's just like,
I'm about to post a story there shortly. I'm hoping today, if not this weekend. And the phrase that's going around Hollywood, this is real, in all the development, TV, film, whatever, you will hear this phrase: male and pale is stale.
Wow.
Let that sink in. This is what I've been told. So we wrote this.
I totally believe it.
We posted this story from a WGA writer, which was an open letter to the WGA about what's happening at the WGA, how Marxist it's become. After that happened, I got flooded with more people from the WGA. A lot of stuff is repetitive, which was fine. Then I got letters from people in the music industry, people in other types of businesses in writing. Male and pale is stale is a thing that everyone says to keep out certain people. We're in a bad place right now.
Wow. And great work, by the way, on the whole D-file stuff, all the stuff you've been dropping over there on that.
Yeah. I keep refreshing Film Threat.
Yeah,
it's not there yet. It's Alan's next story is going to be in 2 weeks. My story will be there. I have to finish it. I just got the artwork. As I'm sitting here, I get the artwork for the story. But it's basically just a collection of correspondences, anonymous, from people in the industry, people who work in all areas of the industry, talking about how DEI is fucking killing Hollywood. And there's so much importance put on DEI. It is above all things. Wrong priorities, people. Wrong priorities. And the people that can make movies that are kind of outside, that can distance themselves from the stupid nonsense that's being forced on creatives, can actually have the opportunity to make something worthwhile.
Did you see the article recently about BlackRock moving away from using the term DEI and all that, and knowing that, people aren't really receptive to that, so they're kind of backing off of the whole DEI
They'll
thing?
just rebrand it. They'll just rebrand it.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. That is exactly what they're doing. They're just rebranding it. They're just not using the term DEI anymore. But behind the scenes, that's still the whole agenda. That's still what they're pushing, all that.
Right. No, it's very disheartening, the place we are in our history, that something that I thought in my lifetime I would see, like, I grew up watching Star Trek with my dad in the 70s in reruns. Didn't see it first run. My father watched it in first run. He was a huge, loved NASA, love anything science fiction. And so we watched reruns of Star Trek together. It provoked so many great conversations. And I'm thinking, in the future, we're all this is what it's going to be like. We're just going to speak to each other, one human being to another, and even aliens are not going to be a thing. I mean, the character of Spock was really put in as a proxy for racism, right? Like, that's part of it. And it's not as if the show did not deal with it. It just dealt with it in a much more nuanced way, in a way that wasn't lecturing. Because, boy, if you want to change someone's behavior, the best thing to do is to just lecture the shit out of them and tell them they're a terrible person. Everyone loves that. Everyone loves when that happens. So yeah, like, I can't believe we've gone steps backward. I really felt like just, getting to the late 80s, 90s, like, oh wow, we're on a positive trajectory. And no, we're not, because the elites want to keep us divided.
Yeah.
And it's sick to my stomach.
I don't know.
As I've said
recognize that.
As I've said a million times over, they realized that for the longest time, we discovered that, hey, there's very little difference between us despite our skin color or where we may come from. But one thing that we do realize is that those guys up there on the hill, they're screwing everybody.
Yep.
So you know what? F the man. Well, then they heard that. They're like, oh shit, we're the man. Well, what if we take the man and just put white in front of it? How will they react? So that's what's been happening for the last decade, is they took the man, which is something all of us collectively as a group could agree with was bad, meaning the government, authority, unfair laws, all that kind of stuff. That's what the man was representative. Your boss would have you. Now they just put white in front of it. So that just made every white man an enemy. And so right there, you just created two factions. Hell, from there, you not only created factions, you created offset factions to the point where we literally had Black Lives Matter and all this other crap that I'm not going to get into because it's Nick's channel. But yeah.
No, I'm just saying that.
I can rant about it all day.
This affects
absolutely.
everything. It affects everything, and it's not been it's been a net negative for the industry. The industry is shrinking by half. You have lost people. And one of the things that was interesting that was in the comments, if you look at that WGA story, is someone kept posting a link to this thing. Hey, look at this. The top 100 shows are written by white writers. And I'm thinking, that's not the sick burn you think it is. What it's saying is the most popular shows are written by people that are unburdened by all of this, right? So,
or qualified, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they have more. The problem is, absolutely, the industry needs to mentor and bring people up. It takes 10 years.
I'm waiting for this to happen again, but they'll talk about the top movies at the box office, and then they'll do the racial quotas after they examine what's top of the box office, and then they'll talk about what needs to change. Guys, you can make statistics lie in almost any way you want. That's one of the first things that they teach you in statistics.
Well, and this is one thing that's bothered me from the start, is that entertainment and sports are the two areas that have broken down barriers first. Yet they're the first things that they decided that they were going to key in on, like with sports and entertainment. It's like, what world? And I'm not trying to, single out like Kaepernick or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, what are you talking about? Like, sports have been integrated before even schools were.
Yeah.
His disgusting. I saw the clip from his Netflix series where it basically compared the NFL draft to some slave auction.
Oh yeah. Kaepernick.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, you're about to become a millionaire to play football.
Right? A game.
A physical game.
On the other side of it, you have an industry where Michael Jackson was the biggest superstar for how many years in the 80s? Will Smith was the biggest actor in the 90s. Bill Cosby was the highest paid TV star for like a decade. Eddie Murphy was the hottest star of the 80s. These things wouldn't happen if the industry wasn't so integrated already. We had several gay people in the industry. Guess what? I've told people time and time again, you know those movies that you love? Guess what? They all have a ton of gay representation because all the people that made the costumes, the sets, and half the people acting in the fucking movie are gay. Guess
Yeah,
what?
no, it's just
That's where they go.
Hey, do you remember that
Sorry.
Eddie? Hey Tom, do you remember that Eddie Murphy special where he dresses in the red leather?
Yes,
What was-
delirious.
Yeah, that's his
Oh
best
my God.
stand up.
That okay. By the way, if anybody watched that now, they might have.
I just
they might try
watched
to
it last
cancel.
week.
It's so
he had to
good.
apologize for all that shit, man. And I can't believe he did. He's like, yeah, I went off a little too much on the gay people. It's like, no, Eddie, you should have said, I was going off the information at the time. Had I known the truth, I would not have made those jokes. That's not an apology. That's just you saying at the time, I was going off the knowledge that I was known. And it's true. At that time, as far as we knew, you could kiss somebody and get AIDS. We didn't know.
Watch the old. Okay, I don't want to like.
You could sweat. You
All
could
I'm saying
sweat.
is,
Yeah.
there was a
If
lot
you
of
were-
crazy shit that were said by so-called experts during the AIDS crisis. That
You knew where I
there's
was
something-
going exactly, Chris.
Yes, yeah, you know. Okay, yeah. I can think of the.
Yeah,
clip
all
in
the
my
experts that were talking during the Coof bug, you know.
head. Yeah.
You couldn't play
Anyways,
basketball.
Star
with-
Wars.
Yeah. Star Wars.
Star
Eddie
Wars.
and Star Wars. That would be an interesting.
I did want to
gosh.
show this clip real quick
Please.
because this is our friend Derek Anderson from the DA, and he's hitting on actually one of the guys that's kind of clapping back at Chris on his tweet on the whole feminism and all this sort of crap. But I did want to play this real quick. So
Let's hear it.
Is just because a main character in a few films is female doesn't mean they are gearing the franchise to women. It's geared towards everyone, always has been. Ask George, he'll tell you the same thing, and you know it. Let's address this second point, because people will often say, oh yeah, Star Wars is just geared towards everybody. Star Wars is geared towards everybody. Ask George. Okay, well, let's go ahead and hear what George had to say about Star Wars.
It was really, it actually came out of Star Wars. It came out of, Star Wars was really a mythological adventure for 12-year-old boys. Mythological adventure for 12-year-old boys.
Yep.
Mythological adventure for 12.
Pause that for a second, because
Can I get that clip? Can I get that clip?
yeah, please. I've been wanting
Email
that
it
clip.
to me, or
Yeah, and Chris will know what I'm
actually,
talking
Chris, we
about
sent
here.
you this video in a Twitter DM. If you scroll back up in the messages on Twitter DM, this video, it's at the like 5, a little.
do I have
past the
like?
5
Can I
minute
like
mark.
upload it? Because the thing that's Twitter is weird. They don't promote anything with links. If you have a link to YouTube, they don't. It's like it gets suppressed.
Here, I'll just
Send me the
post
video.
I'll just
just post
the,
it in there.
I'll just post the link to this. Or do you want this video, or do you just want that?
I'll
Lucas
just send you
clip?
the link. I'll get my guy to cut it for me.
Same here. But like, I know Chris will appreciate this, because the only other time that George kind of brought up,
Thank you.
this, well, at least in the girls' sense, is he brought up that in episode 1, the reason that Padme has so many costume changes is so that the girls had something to look at.
Girls like costume changes. Look at Barbie.
Acknowledging that there is a girl base, but it's not the same base as the boys. See, that's
they
the
think about
point.
things. This is why I will say, to all due respect to female Star Wars fans, what I'll ask is, show me your collection. What do you have? It's mostly clothes. I'm serious. Look, I love Anna, that Star Wars girl. We all know her.
Yeah.
Love Anna. She's super fun to hang out with at a con.
Yeah,
she
she
knows her Star Wars up and down. She could school me. She knows areas of Star Wars that I don't.
She's an exception to the rule, though. That's
She's
the
an
thing.
exception. She's not most female Star Wars fans have the t-shirt or the her universe cute top.
Yeah.
But they're not like in a room filled with action figures. That's just not. I have never seen that ever.
There is.
I met a lot of female Star Wars fans. I have met a lot of female Star Wars fans. Don't get me wrong. But it's
Yeah, there's a
probably
few.
more like it's more for boys. Part of the reason girls like it, it's because it's for boys. And I'll tell you this, I was just speaking to a TV writer a couple days ago, who read our WGA story, works in televisions, TV writing children's TV. Do you want to hear a fun fact? TV writers that write for children, what the fun fact is? Boys, okay, so girls will watch a show that's made for boys, but boys will not watch a show that's made for girls. But girls will watch boys' shows. So, like a show that's made for boys will be watched by both boys and girls, but a show made for girls is only viewed by girls. Very few boys watch or like girls' entertainment. They just don't. And they are distinct. And anyone here who's a parent, I don't know, I'm not sure how many parents we have here. I have 2 grown children. I have a boy and I have a girl. They are different. The only crossover I'll say, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, I think we talked about it on Midnight's Edge on Monday. Dinosaurs. I don't know why.
Well, they're a big one, yeah.
Appeal to both boys and girls. Dinosaurs.
But it could be a similar thing, right? Like, because a lot of the
Right.
girls that tend to be into dinosaurs generally are the same kind of girls that are into like Star Wars and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's absolutely correct. The only other exception I would think of would be My Little Pony. But the strange thing there is that the crossover is generally grown men. And there's also a crossover with furries. So I'm not going to get into any deeper than that.
Grown men that they have issues.
Exactly. And I'm not trying to, you know, if anybody in our chat just happens to be a brony, I'm not trying to piss them off or say that you're bad. I'm just saying, like, there is an overlap, not everybody, but
right.
And like Chris said, yeah. So that's the only other exception I can think of, because you're right. Like, generally, if there was the exception to the rule on the boys' side of things, it was very rare and in between. And frankly, a lot of those boys would grow up to be costume designers or gay or whatever. So yeah.
But it's interesting. It's interesting that like this TV writer who happened to be a woman was like, when you write stuff for boys, girls also like it, but it doesn't flip the other way. It doesn't flip to boys don't watch stuff for when they see something for girls, they're like, nah, and the boys move on. Right. I mean, are there Hot Wheels for girls? Hot Wheels, boy brand or girl brand? We should just play a game. Hot Wheels is a boys brand. Boys play with trucks. I remember playing with trucks and cars in a freaking sandbox.
Action
and
figures.
Dirty. Action figures. They get dirty. We didn't collect Star Wars figures. We played the shit out of them. They got dirty and broken and whatever. And were left out in the rain. And you'd see them at yard sales. It wasn't until later we got older. Like, God, remember that stuff? Like, I remember
that's why it's worth something now.
Like
yeah.
in the 90s, I remember reading magazines like, oh my God, Toy Collector was a magazine. It's like a newsprint thing. And I'm looking like, holy shit, I can buy a hydrocopter and pay $300.
But they,
anyways.
they weren't worth anything if we blew them up, took our G.I.
With our
Joe
firecrackers.
aircraft carrier out into the pool and sunk it or whatever we
No,
did.
but they're worth more now because they're lesser, because there's less of them around, Loki, is my point, especially in the package. But you're exactly right, Chris. And that woman that was, what was her name again? You said it before that you were talking about the whole boys don't play with girls brands.
Oh no, I didn't give a name. A lot of people are talking to me privately. So
sorry. Okay, I didn't know if that was something you were citing or if it was something else that somebody said. Okay, my bad. But yeah, no, there's actually precedent set for that, considering He-Man just came out again and they're teasing She-Ra at the end of this one. Spoilers, but she was kind of the beginning of this. She's like patient zero for why you should never take a boys brand and try to turn it into girls brand or try to appeal to the women at the same time.
You can't.
Because you took the biggest brand in history, because that was the first time in Mattel history that He-Man had beat Barbie, and Barbie to that point was the biggest toy brand in the world. And the Barbie side hated that. So when they heard that they were going to do a female sister of He-Man, because they noticed that, oh, there are girls that are interested in Masters Universe. About 20-30% are buying the toys. Same thing with the TV show. About 30-40% of the audience is female. So they're like, well, why don't we start appealing to them by creating a character? So they did, but the girl brand side of things got wind of that. So what they did is they inserted themselves and said, no, we should be in charge of this because this is for the girls. So what we had then was a girl side of the brand that was incompatible with the boys brand. And you also turned a boys brand into a girls brand. So you had a lot of people behind that brand going, you just destroyed the biggest brand in history. And the proof was in the pudding when the product fell off a cliff. They went from the highest grossing to the lowest grossing toy sales in history, right? Overnight, it seemed like.
Let me address
She-Ra.
Let me address a couple things in here. Oaktown Girls saying Chris is acting like the boy material has all boy cast, which they mostly don't. Yes, they don't. Star Wars has a very strong woman in it who is the leader of the rebellion.
Yeah.
Look, all boys stuff has girls in it. Do you understand what the term boy brand means? If you work in marketing, which I've worked in marketing, there's a boy brand and a girl brand.
It's always been that way.
And guess what?
Yeah.
There are women in content for boys. There are boys and men in content that's for girls, i.e. Ken. Congratulations to Ryan Gosling on his well-deserved Oscar nomination, by the way. But what I'm saying is you're completely missing what I'm saying, which is why, like, look, if you work in toys, if you work in marketing, if you work in entertainment, there are things that are primarily, not 100%, primarily targeting boys. And there are other things that are primarily targeting girls. The fact that this is even a discussion or an argument is stupid because people are trying to dismiss what I'm saying by pointing out this little, it's not 100%. Yes, I know it's not 100%.
Right.
Yeah, which you never said it was 100%.
Well, and to go off my point, like in He-Man, there was Tila and the Sorceress, but the difference was when they made the She-Ra toys, She-Ra did not, her design was not like Tila or the Sorceress. And the same thing carried over for the boys on the She-Ra show. The men in that show were not in the same design as the Masters of the Universe guys. So there was an incompatibility there when it came to playing with the toys, and in turn made it a girls brand, and it turned the boys off. Even the guys at Mattel said that. In fact, the main guy left He-Man and he went over to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which then became the biggest boys brand after that. So there you go.
No one's saying, saying girls can't like the boy brand. I am luckily married to a woman who loves Star Wars comics. She loves Star Wars toys. She's got a signed Darth Vader mask in our living room that's in like a show off. You know, I mean, that's her thing. Our entire living room is Star Wars and Star Trek. She loves that shit. No one's saying that a girl can't love that shit.
No. But the point was they went and took the She-Ra dolls and they made them all about like combing the hair and dressing them up and all that is all the Barbie stuff.
Yeah.
They turned it into a Barbie.
No guys were going out buying Ken dolls from the Barbie line.
Except for Smithers.
Yeah.
Now, I'll point out, if it has action figures, it's a boys brand. If it has dolls, it's a girls brand.
Yes, this is so I just feel like, you know what? It's because people are fucking confused. All this confusion over gender has made people stupid, okay? There are clear differences between the sexes, and there will always be outliers, and that's cool. No one is disparaging the outliers, and no one is saying you can't love Star Wars. None of my statement is so simple, it makes people retarded who are reading it. They sound like idiots because they're reading things into it I never said.
Yeah, and you guys can see all that when you follow Chris on Twitter and all the idiots that respond to him.
Yeah, sorry, you got me worked up. Hey, I know I got to run, but you guys were going to talk about Dune stuff, and I can't wait. If there's anything I can sort of throw out, I just did a whole stream talking about it.
Yeah, I know that's why when Loki was gonna cover some Dune stuff, did you have
tickets are on sale now?
Yes,
tickets just went on sale literally an hour ago. You can get tickets to Dune Part 2 in IMAX.
Yep. Just quick thoughts, Chris, and then Loki and Jonas and Tom. Quick thoughts. Dune 2 coming out February. What are you guys thinking on this movie?
I saw Paul Atreides 2 days ago ride a sandworm.
Yes,
it's going to be epic. It was shot. I have that same one. Wait, Tom, so you have that? I just got it. Where are the instructions for the Lego? Where are they? You know what? You haven't broken the seal yet, my friend.
I'm going to do a video on it, but you're telling me there's not instructions for this damn thing?
I couldn't find the instructions for the Lego.
This thing has like 790 pieces.
I'll bet it's a PDF. Anyway, hey, I just want to say shout out to the chat here. When I was saying people were idiots, I was talking about other chats and other people.
Oh, that's right.
The smartest chat is at Film Threat and Midnight's Edge and here on Echo Base Network, all the smartest chats. But the thing is this, I'm very clear in my communication, right? And what people are doing is they're criticizing me based on assumptions about what I'm saying rather than what I'm saying.
Yeah, and you've been getting hammered on Twitter for that crap. And
I don't give a shit though. The thing is, Twitter is not real life.
No.
I don't have time. I basically post and ghost, and I don't care. And I love real fans. I mean, you'll see me. I've been going to San Diego Comic-Con since '89, going to WonderCon and all these other cons. I love hanging out with people. One thing I have seen is there are more women at cons. And I'll just give this fun fact. Cons are 50-50 male-female. Wasn't that in the 90s? But now it was like right around when like Twilight became popular, cons became more diverse in terms of male female. Awesome. It's a big tent. Come on in. Like, it's great. I'm happy because I've taken my daughter when my daughter was young. She was little. I've taken her to Comic-Con, every Comic-Con from when she was little. And she goes to conventions with me. We'll go to like some Comic-Con or Monster Palooza or whatever. We hang out. It's a fun thing we get to do together. My daughter did not like Barbie. She was given Barbies because there's an assumption, oh, you're a girl. That means you like Barbie. My daughter doesn't like Barbies.
Yeah.
She likes Godzilla. I'm going to see Godzilla -1 -color tonight with my daughter.
I got tickets for that tomorrow.
I got tickets tonight.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I'm actually going to see Tool in concert tonight.
Oh, that's great.
I'll be at the Tool show tonight and then
Yeah.
Godzilla -1 -color tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I got to run, but I just want to say hail to the chat. Thank you. I love your passion. I love the conversation. No one's calling each other names. No one's being mean. Everybody's being, and you know what? Question ideas. I love that. Diversity of thought, diversity of ideas is a positive thing. And I appreciate even the people that talk shit about me. It's fine. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure for 5 says, I remember watching G4 as a teenager and a young man back when comedians and skits were allowed to be a little edgy. Now you have to walk on eggshells. Well, others might say you have to walk on eggshells. I say F that. And apologies for my language. I get a little passionate.
No, it's fine. But you address that.
I blame Tom for all of that. Tom is at fault.
Yeah, but you actually address a lot of that in the Attack of the Doc documentary, which you guys can find in the description of this stream, about how a lot of the stuff you guys did on G4 TV, no way you'd be able to get away with it on television today.
By the way, the soundtrack for Attack of the Doc is on Spotify for free. And there's like 3 or 4 songs that weren't in the movie that Zach Selwyn wrote that are really funny. And there's an extended version of You Can't Do That No More. That's kind of the theme of the film, is that we did all these crazy things. Nobody complained. Now, if any of those things were done today, you'd be canceled on a TV show, or there'd be complaining. The problem is listening to this a vocal minority. It's a vocal minority of people that make us all walk on eggshells. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
So,
and they're extremely loud.
They're extremely loud. You know, I had a panel at was it 2015 WonderCon that was canceled. It was called Fanfic Theater. And I was on the panel with Adrian Curry, John Schnepp. It was so fun. And all we would do is we would read crazy fanfic. The secret was we wrote the fanfic. It was stuff that we wrote, but we pretended that we found it online and we'd make up these fake names. And it was all like, it was like sexual innuendo, but not overt. It was like, you know, Harry Potter and Star Trek: The Next Generation and the prequels. And it was just, I was hilarious. Anyways, that panel got canceled in 2015. That was not my first brush with cancel culture, by the way, something for another stream. But like, I was like, why are people so sensitive? Like, this is not a big deal. I've been going to Comic-Con, you know, for so many years. People say the most raunchy stuff or crazy stuff. You kind of like assess the room. Are there a lot of kids in here? No. Okay, we're safe to whatever. You bring your kid to a con, they're going to hear some stuff, but it's all in good fun and everyone respects each other. But we've gone to a bad place in the culture. I'm just not tolerating it anymore. I'm broken. And the broken is not going to tolerate the dumb, not going to tolerate the people on the wrong end of the bell curve that are dragging all of us down. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's not going to do it. There's a great Ray Bradbury short story that I read in high school that really blew my mind. You may or may not have had it for required reading. Look it up. And I even forget what the name of the story is. This Ray Bradbury science fiction story is set somewhere in the future where everyone has to be equal. They want everyone to be equal. And what do they do?
I think I know which one. Harrison Bergeron by Vonnegut, maybe.
Yes. Is it okay? All right. Maybe I got that wrong. So what they do is they take if you are someone who has a lot of strength, they apply weights to you so that you have to walk around carrying these heavy, burdensome weights. So you're not any stronger than any other person, so that everyone is equal strength. Stupid. He was obviously making a point then, and it's even more relevant now than when I read that when I was in high school 1 million years ago. So I got to run, everybody. check out my channel, Film Threat. Want to thank Tom, Nick, Jonas, Stone_Loki. I don't know if we met, but I assume there's your.
This is the first time we've been on a stream together.
Oh, well, there you go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Loki's cool dude, though.
Yeah,
but I'm sorry, I'm just in a rush.
Yeah,
But I just
no,
wanna say-
no, it's all good, man. I appreciate you taking the time to stop by. We've been trying to get you on forever. Just the scheduling just never
it's all
really
good.
quite
We'll
met
figure
up.
But by the way, I'll be on again, but I'm going to once a month. I'm going to put out. I've already got one pre-written in my drafts. First of all, I'm going to quote tweet the box office for Madam Web.
Oh, it's going to be a disaster.
And I'm going to say, turning Spider-Man into a girl brand will turn out to be a costly decision for Sony.
Yeah.
You heard it here. Okay. I'm going to quote tweet it. I'm going to do that once a month to fuck with people because, and also to make you all laugh. So,
I can't wait. Well, again, thank you for coming by, Chris. We appreciate it. Everybody go watch Attack of the Doc. Link in the description. Go follow Chris on Twitter. Go subscribe to Film Threat. All the links are in the description below.
And support Echo Base Network, good people, everyone else here on this stream. I'll see you when I see you. Take care. May the force be with you.
Bye, Chris.
Later.
And also with you.
Later, Chris.
All right, guys, real quick. Mr. Buttcrack Media, member for 20 months, held Nick, coach, and panel in the EBN family. Coach is not here today. He is actually driving a bus right now. Most consistent man, Graph Web, for $2. Hail, sir. Cancel Disney Plus. Mr. Buttcrack Media also gifted 5 Echo Base Network memberships. Hail to you, good sir, and welcome to the 5 new channel members. We also, Raven's father gifted 10 Echo Base Network memberships. So that's 15 total. This Sunday is our monthly member stream. So it's for all channel members, no matter what the level. This Sunday afternoon, just watch the community page. We'll post what time it'll be because it's normally in between 2 and 4 p.m. Central Time on Sunday. So be on the lookout for that. Come hang out with us and, ask us questions. We'll be talking about topics, getting y'all's feedback on the channel, whatever stuff. That's your time to talk with me and Coach. We will be there for all channel members this Sunday afternoon. Darth Maul's lower half member for 2 months. Interviewer to Daisy. Congrats on The Last Jedi. Yeah, happy with it, Daisy. Sure. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, she knows those movies are crap. She knows. And our man George the Giant Slayer. Hail to you, good sir.
George.
5 Echo Base Network memberships. George is great, guys. If you guys have not subbed to George the Giant Slayer, it's just go type it in the search bar on YouTube, or if one of the moderators could post a link to George's channel in the chat. He's great. He actually just had his very first live stream not too long ago. Had a great panel of people, probably most all people that all you guys know on there. George is great. Hail to you, sir. Glad
He'll actually be on my channel Sunday night.
He'll be on.
He's our member on the top 5 countdown. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So guys, we had Jonas had a topic, and then Loki was going to cover a lot of Dune 2 stuff, but having Chris on first time, the conversation was just flowing, so we just let it go. So we'll definitely be hitting some of these topics next week. Definitely the Dune 2 stuff for sure, because I want to talk more about that. Robert Meyer Burnett is going to be our guest next Friday. So I'll definitely be interested in hearing his thoughts on the Dune 2 stuff and whatever other topics that we got. Loki, any other final thoughts before we close out of here, brother?
Get your Dune tickets, guys, and get them quick.
On sale today.
25th next month. You can get them early. You can go see it early in IMAX. Go see it early in IMAX. You'll never regret that. You will always remember it.
I'm guessing
that first movie with Mike in IMAX was just breathtaking.
Yeah, well, that's when we were in Dallas together. Yep. I'm guessing you got yours today.
No, I got them yesterday.
Oh, okay. Nice.
We got them yesterday when we got our Final Fantasy VII Advent Children single date night release tickets.
To that. Also, crap, I'm drawing a blank.
And Advent Children, I'm there. I didn't realize they were doing a sequel.
They're not. It's Advent Children Complete. It is the first release of the extended cut in theaters. So you had the original cut, and then you've got the extended cut. This will be the one night only. So if you want to go, make sure you get your tickets now.
Well, it's 2 nights, isn't it?
Well, one's in subtitle and one's in dub. So for me, it's one night and one night only.
Right. Yeah, I need to make sure I get the right tickets because Prince Jazal is going to go with me. He lives here in Birmingham.
Nice.
So he's going to go as well. I actually need to text him right after this stream. But yeah, Advent Children, I'll be at. Of course, we got Dune 2 coming out in February.
4 days later. 4 days later.
And then my most anticipated form of entertainment of all time for the entire year, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, drops February 29th. So February is going to be a good month. I cannot wait for February to get here. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Jonas, any final thoughts or comments or anything before we wrap up?
No, man. This is maybe we didn't cover all the things we wanted to cover, but I feel like this was an awesome stream. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm definitely gonna be clipping some of this stuff, and we'll drop it as single videos. Tom, any final thoughts or comments before we get out of here?
I like turtles.
Yeah.
I should have guessed that was coming. I like
it's kind of my trademark now.
Yeah. Guys, you can find Tom. What do you guys got coming up? Anything you want to?
I might do some Mead radio this afternoon. Otherwise, like I said, on Sunday night, 8:00, we call it the shit list or the top countdown. George will be our guest this week, so hopefully you can join us there. He picked our topic is our top 5 genre movies, so hopefully we can join us for that. That kicks off right after Valiant Renegade show. Otherwise, who knows where I'll. Oh yeah, tomorrow at noon I'm on the Salty Nerd podcast, and then Pop Minefield in the afternoon. But yes,
Loki, and what do you got coming up?
We've got the Late Show coming up tonight.
Yeah,
I might pop into that too. Jesus,
if he's awake.
If it's still going by the time I get back from the Tool concert, I might jump in because I took a half day off work today to go to that show tonight. Jonas, what do you got coming up? Anything going on in your world?
Yeah, we're mostly covering all the drama with the Disney company and going into the financials and all the fun little lies that they're trying to, that pixie dust they try to sprinkle on everything.
So the typical stuff from them.
Oh man, I got a list of like 20 videos over here that I need to edit. I'm like, what in the world?
I've got a video to send you, Jonas. Remind me about that when we get out of here. Mexican Iron Man, the pixie duster. There is evidence out there.
I You stop that. You stop that right now.
I want to thank everybody for being here today. This was a great stream. This was the most people we've had on an EBN cast today. It was awesome. Hope to see everybody back next week. Thank you for all your continued support and for everybody that sent in super chats and all the new members. This video is for you guys.
So Mediator has decided 1 point Valiant Renegade. That is a very, very valid argument. Okay.
What you're really saying, Valiant, though,
may the force be with you. For me, to
That's going to do it for us today, guys. We will see you guys same time, same place, right here next Friday. Until then, we'll see y'all on the next one. Bye, guys.
Coach Nick from Echo Base Network, thank you so much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens.